Hello friends, this is Team SuperSimplified and today we are here with UPSC Prelims 2016 question paper. We will be providing you solutions here with explanation, and this is only part 1 of the paper because the paper contains 100 questions, so we have divided into parts. Once you finish this part, you can proceed to the next. Right, so first question which arises here is, why should I solve previous year question papers? So the answer to this is in order to orient your studies in the correct direction, because you will be reading a lot, but whether your preparation is actually fulfilling the demand of the question paper or not, whether it is in the right direction for the examination which is you are going to face, right? So in order to gauge all those things, you have to solve previous year papers, right? And to know the changing trend also, this is important, because if you see UPSC papers only from 2011 to 2016 onwards, there's a drastic change here, right? So you can see that the paper is increasingly becoming more tilted towards current affairs, right? The biggest challenge I would say in front of the UPSC aspirants is that there's a lot to read, right? So it is very important that you know what not to read or what is to be given less focus, right? So this helps you gauge that particular thing, and it also helps you find your weak areas. Maybe you're good in history but you're not good in polity, so maybe you need to catch up there. So this gives you an insight into those kind of things, right? And according to me, this is a part of the preparation. You should not wait for your preparation to finish and then you will start solving mock papers or previous year papers. There should be an ongoing process along with your study. They should be done in parallel. Whenever you study a particular topic, you try to find out some questions on that and try to solve those, and this will definitely help you in gaining crystal clear clarity in the concepts. Okay, so let's get started here. I will present the question to you, I will read out the options, and then I will give you the answer, and if required anywhere, I will give you additional information about that particular topic, right? So question number 1 is, with reference to Stand Up India scheme, which of the following statements is or are correct? Statement 1, its purpose is to promote entrepreneurship among SC/ST and women entrepreneurs. Statement 2, it provides for refinance through SIDBI, Small Industries Development Bank of India. Select the correct answer using the code given below. Option A, 1 only, B, 2 only, C, both 1 and 2, and D, neither 1 nor 2. So what could be the answer to this? Before going to the answer, I'll give you some important points about this particular scheme. So this scheme basically facilitates bank loans between 10 lakh to 1 crore to at least one scheduled caste or scheduled tribe borrower and at least one woman borrower per bank branch for setting up a greenfield enterprise, a new enterprise, right? So every bank branch has to give 2 loans, basically minimum 2 loans, one to the SC/ST candidate, right, and one to a woman candidate. Okay, so this is the entire scheme here. The loan ranges from 10 lakhs to 1 crore, right? And SIDBI is a partner here, right? So let's go back to the question. Now you try to analyze these two statements. Its purpose is to promote entrepreneurship among SC/ST and women entrepreneurs. It provides for refinance through SIDBI. Both the statements are actually correct, right? So the correct answer is C, both 1 and 2. So the purpose of this entire exercise was that to emphasize a point that whenever a question is asked from current affairs, it will be a very basic question. It will be directly from the overview. Did I discuss the nitty-gritties of the scheme? No. I just gave you a one paragraph overview of the particular scheme and you could answer this particular question, right? So sometimes we get bored by reading current affairs and we don't feel like reading some of the topics there. Even if you're not interested in going in detail, just have an overview, just have a glance, that may help you somewhere, right? So this was just a demonstration of that. Now going to the next question, question number 2. The FAO accords the status of globally important agricultural heritage system to traditional agriculture systems. What is overall goal of this initiative? Now here again I'll demonstrate something. Even if you don't know the correct answer, you can still attempt it, right? So statement 1, to provide modern technology, training in modern farming methods and financial support to the local communities of identified GIAHS so as to greatly enhance their agricultural productivity. Option 2, to identify and safeguard eco-friendly traditional farm practices and their associated landscapes, agricultural biodiversity and knowledge systems of local communities. To provide geographical indication status to all the varieties of agricultural produce in such identified GIAHS. Select the correct answer using the code given below. 1 and 3 only, B, 2 only, C, 2 and 3 only, and D, 1, 2 and 3. So what is the correct answer here? See, even if you have not read about GIHS, still if you want to attempt this question, you can make some logical guesses. I'll tell you how. You can read the first statement. Before that, just read this question, this part of the question. It says GIHS is some kind of program where they are trying to preserve the traditional agricultural systems, right? So focus should be on traditional agricultural systems. Now read the statement 1. To provide modern technology, training in modern farming methods and financial support and all, right? So the traditional agriculture systems and modern technology will not go together, so I'll mark it wrong. Okay, now coming to statement 2, to identify and safeguard the eco-friendly traditional farm practices and their associated landscapes, agricultural biodiversity and knowledge systems of the local communities. All this is related to eco-friendly and traditional farming, right? So this could be correct, so I'm just sticking it right. Now coming to third statement, to provide geographical indication status. See, geographical indication is entirely different topic altogether. If you have some idea about GI, this is not related to GIHS actually, so this is also not correct. So correct answer is P, 2 only. So this is how you can attempt those questions also which are not from the topics which you have read actually. This is the GIAHS program where they preserve the agricultural heritage systems. Okay, now coming to the next question, question number 3, which of the following is or are the tributary or tributaries of Brahmaputra? Now this is a very factual question. If you know about it, you know about it, otherwise you cannot attempt it. Options are Dibang, Camel and Lohit. Select the correct answer using the code given below. A, 1 only, B, 2 and 3 only, C, 1 and 3 only, and D, 1, 2 and 3. The correct answer is D, 1, 2 and 3. All three are the tributaries of Brahmaputra, and this is the map. Here you have Dibang river, okay, and here you can see Camel river, which is a tributary of Brahmaputra, and here I'll just write down the name is not written. It is Lohit. This river which you see here is Lohit river. So these all three are the tributaries of Brahmaputra actually. The term core banking solutions is sometimes seen in news. Which of the following statements best describes this term? Statement 1, it is a networking of a bank's branches which enables customers to operate their accounts from any branch of the bank on its network regardless of where they open their account. Statement 2, it is an effort to increase RBI's control over commercial banks through computerization. Option 3, it is a detailed procedure by which a bank with huge NPA, non-performing assets, is taken over by another bank. So here this is a very common question, so you must be aware of this. Option 2 and 3 are not correct. Option 1 is correct. So even if you open a bank account in Delhi and you are in Mumbai for some work, you can deposit amount or you can withdraw amount from your bank, because all the bank databases are actually networked, right? So option 1 is correct. So these were the options actually. A, 1 only, B, 2 and 3 only, C, 1 and 3 only, and D, 1, 2 and 3. So correct answer is A, 1 only. Now coming to question number 5, consider the following pairs. These are the terms which are sometimes used, and what could be the origin of these terms? The term is Annex 1 countries, Cartagena Protocol, Certified Emission Reduction, Nagoya Protocol, Clean Development Mechanism, Kyoto Protocol. So which of the following pairs are given correctly matched? A, 1 and 2 only, B, 2 and 3 only, C, 3 only, and D, 1, 2 and 3. So before solving this particular question, let me give you some background about the Kyoto Protocol. So the Kyoto Protocol is an international agreement, as you must be knowing. It is aimed at reducing the greenhouse gas emission, right? And Kyoto is actually a place in Japan, and that is why it is known as Kyoto Protocol. This was ratified at that particular place. In 1997 it was adopted, and it came into force in 2005. Okay, there are 192 parties to it, right? And Canada withdrew from it in 2012 because it had some objections. We'll talk about that. And this is actually based on the principle of common but differentiated responsibilities. Okay, so let's understand this particular phrase. This is important. Common but differentiated responsibility. This is also known as CBDR. So what is this? There are around 200 countries in the world, right? And if the pollution increases, it is going to harm everyone. So to control the level of pollution is everyone's responsibility. It is a common responsibility, but it is a differentiated responsibility because the level of development of the different countries is actually different. There are some developed countries like European countries and USA, which were industrialized long before the developing countries like India and Brazil and China and all, right? So they have contributed more to in polluting the environment, right? So their responsibilities are far higher than the developing nations, and developing nations have a huge population pressure and they have to fulfill their demands and needs, so you cannot equalize them in terms of the responsibility. So that is why these responsibilities are actually differentiated. So common but differentiated responsibilities. Now how do we do it in Kyoto Protocol? So there are actually some annexures in Kyoto Protocol. there is an annexure known as annexure 1, where all the developed countries are actually listed with their emission targets and all, and there is annexure 2 countries, which is a subset of annexure 1 countries like USA and Canada and all, and they are given additional responsibility of actually helping the developing countries in devising some clean mechanisms and going for energy efficiency, green energy and all those things, right? And there are non-annexure countries which do not exist in any of these annexures. These are developing countries like India, Brazil, China, etc. So this is how they have given a common responsibility to all these countries, but it is differentiated because annexure 1 and annexure 2 countries have a target, but developing countries like India and China do not have a target, and that is why Canada had opted out in 2011, saying USA has not ratified it and China is not under the purview because it is a non-annexure country. So why should we take all the burden, right? So in that way this treaty is not very successful. So there are a few other important terms, for example CDM, Clean Development Mechanism. It is one of the flexible mechanisms defined in the Kyoto Protocol, which provides for emission reduction projects which generate certified emission reduction units which may be traded in emissions trading schemes. So there is something known as carbon trading. So what happens here is, since the quota for annexure 1 countries is fixed that they can only emit, for example, 100 units. If they emit more than this, maybe 10 units they are emitting more, then they have to help one of the developing countries in cutting down their emission by 10 units. This 10 units which is earned by funding a project in a developing country is known as carbon credit. Okay, and that carbon credit is also known as certified emission reduction certificate. So the certified emission reduction is actually a carbon credit which is issued by the Clean Development Mechanism Executive Board for emission reductions achieved by CDM projects and verified by designated operational entity under the rules of Kyoto Protocol. So these are the two terms which are actually associated with Kyoto Protocol. Now coming to the other protocols which were listed down there, the Cartagena Protocol. So this is a protocol on biosafety. It is an international agreement and it is aimed at ensuring the safe handling, transport, use of living modified organisms, genetically modified organisms, resulting from modern biotechnology that may have adverse effect on biological diversity, taking also into account the risk to human health. So Cartagena Protocol is actually related to genetically modified organisms, right? And it was ratified in Cartagena, which is a place in Colombia in South America. That is why it is known as Cartagena Protocol, and came into force in year 2003, right? Now coming to Nagoya Protocol. So Nagoya Protocol on access and benefit sharing is a supplementary agreement to 1992 Convention on Biological Diversity, right? So it is also known as Nagoya Protocol on access to genetic resources and their fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising from their utilization to the Convention on Biological Diversity, right? So this is basically about utilization of genetic resources. So this is the aim of this. In 2010 it was adopted, in 2014 it came into force. It is also known as second protocol to Convention on Biological Diversity, because first one is Cartagena Protocol on biosafety, right? Now coming back to the question, now you have a basic idea of all the three protocols. Now try to answer this. Annex 1 countries, this is related to Kyoto Protocol, right? So this pair is wrong. Certified emission reduction, this is also related to Kyoto Protocol, so even this pair is wrong. And clean development mechanism, that is also listed in Kyoto Protocol, so this pair is actually correct. So only one pair is correct, so correct answer is C, 3 only, right? Coming to question number 6. In the context of the developments in bioinformatics, the term transcriptome, sometimes seen in the news, refers to A, range of enzymes used in genome editing, B, the full range of mRNA molecules expressed by an organism, and C, the description of mechanism of gene expression, and D, a mechanism of genetic mutations taking place in cells. This is a technical question, and if you know about it, then only you can answer it. The correct answer is B, the full range of mRNA molecules expressed by an organism. So I'll just explain this particular thing to you. So our body contains two types of nucleic acids. First one is known as DNA, de-oxy ribonucleic acid, and there is also RNA, ribonucleic acid. So both of these are actually different. So what is the difference here? The DNA structure is the double helical structure, and RNA structure is actually different from that. It is a single helical structure. Okay. So what does DNA actually contain? DNA contains the recipe of the biological molecule formation. It contains the genetic information, right? But DNA by itself cannot do anything. It is just a static copy, right? It is the RNA which executes this recipe, which takes this recipe from the DNA and forms the protein molecules which help in building the body, right? So this is how it functions. So you have DNA here, right? So DNA contains the genome code that will be copied to RNA, and RNA will in turn, with the help of the three types of RNA, mRNA, which is messenger RNA, tRNA, transportation RNA, and rRNA, ribosome RNA, right? So with the help of these three variants, it will build these protein molecules, right? So the process of copying the DNA into RNA is known as transcription. Transcription, right? And what is actually copied is known as transcriptome, right? So the basic question here is, now in order to understand this particular concept, I'll give you an example. For example, if you see technically all the cells in the body, in the human body or any body, actually contain the same genome information, right? It contains the same DNA you take from any cell of the body, right? The DNA remains the same, but still a heart functions differently, liver functions differently, brain functions differently, they are in structure also completely different. So how containing the same DNA, they have taken different shape, they have taken different functions? How is that possible? Because even though DNA contains a lot of information, right, it contains the code to form heart also, it contains the code to form liver also, but only some part of it will be actually expressed, okay? Only some part of it will be expressed, and that will be determined by what RNA molecules are actually created, right? So when you list down all the RNA molecules in a particular cell or in a particular area of the body, then that is known as transcriptome, and the study of transcriptome is very important. For example, you have taken two liver cells only and you try to study the transcriptome of these both, and you find a particular difference, right? And you later diagnose that there is a, this is a malignant cell, this is a cancer cell. So what you can do here is that by identifying this particular difference, you can find out that what are the characteristics which are exhibited when cell suffers from cancer, or how to diagnose cancer, right? So this is some kind of application of transcriptomes. So this is only basic information which I wanted to provide you. Now let's move ahead. Question number 7. Mission Indradhanush launched by the government of India pertains to: A. Immunization of the children and pregnant women, B. Construction of smart cities across the country, C. India's own search for Earth-like planets in outer space, and D. New educational policy. Now this is a straightforward question. Mission Indradhanush is actually for immunization of the children and pregnant women. Okay. Now question number 8. Which of the following best describes the aim of Green India mission of the government of India? Green India mission. Okay. Statement 1. Incorporating environmental benefits and costs into union and state budgets and thereby implementing the green accounting. Statement 2. Launching the second green revolution to enhance agricultural output so as to ensure food security to one and all in the future. 3. Restoring and enhancing forest cover and responding to climate change by combination of adaptation and mitigation measures. Select the correct answer using the code given below. A. 1 only, B. 2 and 3 only, C. 3 only, and D. 1, 2 and 3. The correct answer is C. 3 only, right? Now question number 9. With reference to pre-packaged items in India, it is mandatory for the manufacturer to put which of the following information on the main label as per the Food Safety and Standards Packaging and Label Regulations 2011. 1. List of ingredients including additives. 2. Nutritional information. 3. Recommendations, if any, made by the medical professional about the possibility of any allergic reactions. And 4. Vegetarian, non-vegetarian. So what do you think is the correct answer? Select the correct answers using the code given below. A. 1, 2 and 3, B. 2, 3 and 4, C. 1, 2 and 4, and D. 1 and 4 only. So list of ingredients is mandatory. Nutrition information is required, you must have seen there. And for vegetarian, non-vegetarian is also required. It is shown with the help of a dot, green or a maroon dot, right? And statement 3 is not correct. So allergic reactions is not a mandatory item on the food products, right? The correct answer is option C. 1, 2 and 4. Now let's move ahead. Question number 10. Project Loon, sometimes seen in the news, is related to: A. Waste management technology, B. Wireless communication technology, C. Solar power production technology, and D. Water conservation technology. So this is pure current affairs. Correct answer here is B. Wireless communication technology. This is a project by Google actually. So this is how Google is planning to launch balloons in the sky, and with the help of that it will be providing internet to the people living in remote areas, right? So this is the project. The balloons are sent up to 20 kilometers into the stratosphere. Why stratosphere, not troposphere? Because a lot of weather activities happen in troposphere, the clouds and everything. So there will be a lot of disturbance. And there's a software which moves them up or down or in the correct direction in order to keep it stable, because there will be a lot of winds, jet streams, which will be there in stratosphere. Okay. And each balloon beams an internet connection down to antennas on the ground. So this is you can call a mini satellite. It is not an appropriate term, but just in order to understand that, right? So let's move to next question. Net metering is sometimes seen in news in the context of promoting the production and use of solar energy by the households or consumers, use of piped natural gas in the kitchens of households, installation of CNG kits in motor cars, and D, installation of water meters in urban households. And the correct answer is A, production and use of solar energy by the households and consumers. So this is how net metering works. This is the concept of net metering. This is a household which has installed a solar panel to convert energy from the sun into electricity, right? So they will have the solar energy, and since the solar energy supply is an intermittent source, it may not be available continuously during the rainy season or in the winters. That is why they have electrical connection also. So what happens here is maybe their daily requirement is 10 units. Now their solar panel is giving them 20 units per day during summers, right? So they have 10 units excess. So what they can do, they can sell these 10 units to the grid, and in the winters maybe their solar panel is producing only 5 units and their requirement is maybe 15 units. So this additional 10 units they can purchase from the grid. So they will be billed only based on the net usage, so this is known as net metering. Okay, right? So let's move to question number 12. Question number 12 is India's ranking in the ease of doing business index is sometimes in news. Which of the following has declared that ranking? OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, B, World Economic Forum, C, World Bank, and D, World Trade Organization. And the correct answer is World Bank. This is a factual question. Question number 13. Banjaras during the middle period of Indian history were generally A, agriculturists, B, warriors, C, weavers, and D, traders. And the correct answer is D, traders. 14. Who of the following had first deciphered the edicts of Emperor Ashoka? A, George Biller, B, James Princip, C, Max Muller, and D, William Jones. And the correct answer is B, James Princip. This is again a factual question. Question number 15. With reference to Gram Nyayalaya Act, which of the following statements are correct? Statement 1. As per the Act, Gram Nyayalayas can hear only civil cases and not criminal cases. Statement 2. The Act allows local social activists as mediators or reconciliators. Select the correct answer using the code given below. A, 1 only, B, 2 only, C, both 1 and 2, and D, neither 1 nor 2. Statement 1 is wrong because according to this Act, Gram Nyayalayas can hear even the criminal cases. Okay. And statement 2 is correct because local social activists can act as mediators and reconciliators according to the Act. Okay, so the correct answer is B, 2 only. Question number 16. With reference to Trans-Pacific Partnership (TPP), consider the following statements. 1. It is an agreement among all the Pacific Rim countries except China and Russia. 2. It is a strategic alliance for the purpose of maritime security only. Even if you don't know about this, you can still answer this question. I'll tell you why. Because the statements where you find these words only and all are always doubtful statements. So let's see which is the correct answer. Which of the following statements given above are correct? A, 1 only, B, 2 only, C, both 1 and 2, and D, neither 1 nor 2. The correct answer is neither 1 nor 2. It says it is an agreement among all the Pacific Rim countries except China and Russia. Actually in TPP there are only 12 countries. Okay, and if you see geographically Pacific Rim countries, there will be around 50 plus countries, but only 12 are part of it. So it can never be all. It is very doubtful statement when you say all the countries. Okay, and it is a strategic alliance for purpose of maritime security only. 12 countries are coming together. Will it be a single agenda alliance? Very difficult, right? So this is how you can eliminate the wrong answers here. So this is actually a TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership. You have Canada, USA, Mexico, Peru, Chile, New Zealand, Australia, Malaysia, Singapore, Brunei, Vietnam, and Japan. Right? Of course, China and Russia are not there because because this initiative is led by USA, and USA will not want its competitors, Russia and China, to be in the alliance. Right? Even India is not a part of it. Question number 17. Consider the following statements. The India-Africa Summit 1. held in 2015 was the third such summit. 2. was actually initiated by Jawaharlal Nehru in 1951. Which of the following statements given above are correct? A, 1 only, B, 2 only, C, both 1 and 2, and D, neither 1 nor 2. So this is again a factual question. If you know about India-Africa Summit, you can answer this correctly. Here the correct answer is A, 1 only. This initiative was actually started in 2008, and 2015 there was a third summit. Jawaharlal Nehru has nothing to do with it. Okay. Question number 18. What are the purposes of the marginal cost of funding based lending rate MCLR announced by RBI? So this was a hot topic for current affairs during the prelims. Statement 1. These guidelines help improve the transparency in the methodology followed by the banks for determining the interest rates on advances. Statement 2. These guidelines help ensure availability of the bank credit at interest rates which are fair to the borrowers as well as banks. Select the correct answer using the code given below. A. 1 only, B. 2 only, C. both 1 and 2, and D. neither 1 nor 2. Correct answer is C. both 1 and 2. Both the statements are actually correct. So what is MCLR basically? So what was happening in the recent past during Raghuram Rajan regime was that he had decreased the repo rate 2-3 times, but that was not resulting in the interest rate cut by the banks, right? So we can say that the monetary transmission was not happening. Though the RBI was cutting the repo rate for the banks were not in turn cutting the interest rate for its customers. So why does RBI cut these rates? Repo rate, because it wants to give a stimulus to the economy by increasing the money supply. But since the monetary transmission was not happening, the intended purpose was not getting served, right? So that is why RBI has come up with a new formula which will bring to repo rate as well, right? So this is a new regime which solves these two purposes which are stated in statement 1 and 2. So correct answer is C, both 1 and 2. Now let's move to question number 19. What is or are the unique about harai camel, a breed found in India? Statement 1. It is capable of swimming up to 3 kilometers in seawater. Statement 2. It survives by grazing on mangroves. 3. It lives in wild and cannot be domesticated. Select the correct answer using the code given below. A. 1 and 2 only, B. 3 only, C. 1 and 3 only, and D. 1, 2 and 3. And the correct answer here is 1 and 2 only. So this is actually inspired from an article in Down to Earth magazine which was published few years back. It has a detailed article about the harai camel. So harai camel looks something like this. Here you can see them inside sea water, and this is the population of harai camel found in Gujarat. The statement 1 is correct. It is capable of swimming in the water up to 3 kilometers, and it also survives by grazing on the mangroves. But 3 is not correct. It is actually domesticated. Okay. Coming to question number 20. Recently our scientists have discovered a new and distinct species of banana plant which attains a height of 11 meters and has an orange colored fruit pulp. In which part of India has it been discovered? A. Andaman Islands, B. Annamalai Forest, C. Maikala Hills, and D. Tropical rainforest of Northeast. The correct answer is Andaman Islands. So this is the name of the fruit, and this is how it looks like. It has a yellow pulp. This is a banana only, but it has a yellow pulp, right? And this was in news in The Hindu in the month of October 2015. Question 21. Which of the following is the best description of INS Astradharani that was in the news recently? A. Amphibious warfare ship, B. Nuclear powered submarine, C. Torpedo launch and recovery vessel, and D. Nuclear powered aircraft carrier. So correct answer is C, and this is how INS Astradharani looks like. It is a torpedo launch and recovery vessel. Question number 22. What is Greased Lightning 10 GL10 recently in news? A. Electric plane tested by NASA, solar powered 2-seater aircraft designed by Japan, C. Space observatory launched by China, and reusable rocket designed by ISRO. And the correct answer is A. Electric plane tested by NASA. This is also again a factual question. So this is how it looks like. GL10, which is Greased Lightning 10, is a hybrid diesel electric tilt wing aircraft. You can see here these tilt wings. So tilt wing aircraft, and it is capable of vertical takeoff and landing like a helicopter. It does not require a runway, and it is an unmanned aerial vehicle, right? With reference to initiative for nutritional security through intensive millets promotion, which of the following statements are correct? So this is about a government initiative. So statement 1. The initiative aims to demonstrate the improved production and post-harvest technologies and to demonstrate value addition techniques in an integrated manner with cluster approach. Statement 2. Poor, small, marginal and tribal farmers have larger stake in the scheme. Statement 3. An important objective of the scheme is to encourage farmers of commercial crops to shift to millet cultivation by offering them free kits of critical inputs of nutrients and micro irrigation equipment. Select the correct answer using the code given below. A. 1 only, B. 2 and 3 only, C. 1 and 2 only, and D. 1, 2 and 3. The correct answer here is 1 and 2 only. Okay, because the scheme is not about giving micro irrigation equipment. Let's move ahead. Question number 24. The Swadesi and boycott were adopted as a method of struggle for the first time during the A. Agitation against partition of Bengal, B. Home Rule movement, C. Non-cooperation movement, and D. Visit of the Simon Commission to India. This is a very basic question. The correct answer is agitation against the partition of Bengal. Right? Question number 25. With reference to religious history of India, consider the following statements. Statement 1. The concept of Bodhisattva is central to Hinayan sect of Buddhism. Statement 2. Bodhisattva is a compassionate one on his way to enlightenment. Statement 3. Bodhisattva delays achieving his own salvation to help all sentient beings on their path to do it. Which of the following statements given above are correct? A. 1 only, B. 2 and 3 only, C. 2 only, and D. 1, 2 and 3. And the correct answer is 2 and 3 only. Because Bodhisattva, the concept of Bodhisattva is central to Mahayana sect, not Hinayana sect. Okay? And what is a Bodhisattva basically? Bodhisattva in Mahayana Buddhism is a person who is able to reach Nirvana but actually delays it because of his compassion for suffering beings. And it actually refers to Buddha in his previous janmas or births. And Bodhisattvas are actually referred in the Jatak tales also, which are stories of Buddha's previous lives. So that's all for today, guys. We have completed 25 questions today, and for remaining questions you can continue with the other parts of the lecture. And please do subscribe to the channel if you like this video and want regular updates on the new content which is being published here. So thanks for listening. See you soon.